recording artist Sydney Cook. I'm your host, Kevin.
I'm your co-host, Brian.
Thank you for joining us tonight, Sydney.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah,
No, it's
we
an
really
absolute pleasure.
we appreciate you coming on, most definitely.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've built quite a following in the realm of music. So for those who might not be aware of you, can you describe yourself a little bit and give them a little bit of your musical style? Like, what is your genre exactly?
Yeah, I'm Sydney Cook. I do music. I'm a singer, guitar player. I play piano and I produce as much as I can. I would say I sing from the soul, I sing from the heart, so I try to do what's authentic to me. I would call my genre confessional alt pop R&B. I tend to sing from a more soulful place just cuz that's what I love. I think music and art is an expression of your soul, so yeah.
Yeah, I know not everybody necessarily sings from the soul. Some people go chasing after hits. So
Right.
authenticity seems
Right.
like the central pillar of what you're doing. What makes you choose that versus like going after what's hot?
Well, what's crazy is so when I was writing my essay to get into college, go Georgia State, go Panthers. Um, I filled out this 100 question questionnaire, and I gave it to this lady, and she sent it back to me, and she was like, "The pillar of all the answers to all your questions is authenticity," and so it's always been a pillar for me in my life as far as like everything I've done. And her telling me that just kind of like was like, oh shit, you're right. It is. So I think it's just like a natural thing for me. And music is like, even if I wasn't doing it as a career, I would be doing it as like a hobby. It's something I need to live, I wouldn't be happy without making music. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way. How did you ultimately get into music, whether it be piano or guitar?
Um, okay, so my dad, growing up, he always had like dad bands. He plays guitar, so it was always around me. And I remember like one of my like first two memories, like I remember going to the library with my family. I love my family. I have a very supportive family. When I was like 4 or 5, and when you're a kid and you're at the library and they do those like shows for the kids and like have puppets or like it's just like you're in a circle, whatever, small, but they brought me up to sing My Little Sunshine, and I remember it so well. I was like, "Yeah." And then I think, like, a year or 2 later, my dad, I would always just, like he would play guitar, and I would sing over it, and we actually recorded it one time and burned it onto a CD, and I actually have it on my Dropbox, it's funny. But I remember that moment and taking the CD up to my mom in her room and being like, "We just made this song." And so I think those two memories are just like it's always been a part of me. I've just always loved it.
No, that's kind of cool that you were there for like still a bit of the physical era. Now everything's digital, but I kind of feel
Yeah.
like something's missing from when you used to go into the stores. You buy a CD, you get something physical, and it just feels a little bit different than just downloading a digital file.
Yeah, and I love like when you get like a physical piece of equipment versus I don't know, like a new plugin. Like a new plugin is great, it's fun, but like if you get like an amp or I don't know, like just something physical, it's like this is mine. I bought this and I'm
Yeah.
Like
gonna
a
make music with this.
guitar pedal or something.
Yes, yeah, 100%.
So y'all checked out a few of your songs, and you kind of got like that atmospheric, like almost mysterious kind of vibe. I was saying the 2000s, somewhat similar LMA, and going back maybe Aaliyah. Or
Oh,
who are
thank
some of your
you.
like inspirations musically?
I would say my first, like, big inspiration is definitely Amy Winehouse. That's, like, I'm
100%.
yeah, if I don't know how
Love
to
Amy
approach
Winehouse.
something yeah, I love Amy Winehouse. That Frank album, like,
Yeah.
yeah, if I don't know how to approach something, I always just go Amy Winehouse, and that's always been, like, my root. Like, she woke something up in me, like, that was like, "Oh, I wanna do this as a career. I can do it." Like, I don't know, I love Amy Winehouse. And then, like, some more newer people like SZA, Down, of course. And it's funny because one of her biggest inspirations is Amy Winehouse, so I think that
Oh wow.
it makes sense why I resonate with SZA so much. Um, those 2 would probably be, like, my pillars of inspiration. But, of course, Lauryn Hill with the guitar and, like
Oh yeah.
yeah, and Erykah Badu. I love those 4.
Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. That's quite
Classic.
the album. Yeah. And how
Yeah.
old are you, by the way?
I'm 24.
Okay. I'm 39. Kev is. Oh, I think you're muted, Kev.
Oh yeah, I'm 41, so yeah, I'm quite a bit younger. But it does seem like you have like eclectic taste. It kind of spans across the genre, the eras of music, not just like you're only listening to modern music. Seems like you go back a bit.
Yeah, I really try to educate myself about music as much as I can because there's so much of it and it's all so good and it's even like talking about equipment, you can tell how like how different genres sound on different equipment as like equipment has evolved and technology has gotten better.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, I love music.
100%.
So yeah, can you tell us a little bit about the evolving sound that you've noticed over time?
Well, I think one of my favorite things or craziest things to me is auto-tune, because like
Mhm.
obviously I've gone back and like looked at other people, but as far as I've always known, auto-tune has always been a thing. But then when I hear auto-tune didn't come out, so I'm not exactly sure what year. But I know it was "Let Me Buy You a Drink" was like the first song where somebody like really dialed that up to 100. But to think like Marvin Gaye and all the greats from back in the day were not only not using autotune, but they were recording on tape. And
Yeah,
that was expensive. Like if you mess up, it's like, all right, let me pull the tape out and cut it, like actually cut it. And now
physically.
I gotta put in more tape. Like
Yeah,
that's
it was
precious.
expensive.
Yeah, it's
Even when I was coming up, just like playing in bands, like it wasn't that cheap. Now everything's really cheap. I mean, you can get like a bedroom studio set up for, I don't know, $500, $600. But like when I was coming up, you had to go to a studio. You had to be
mm,
paying an audio engineer. There were no easy ways about it. You had to save up money. But now you just be in your bedroom recording music. It's pretty incredible. It's kind of like the barrier to entry has totally changed.
yeah, that's what I think Prince kind of predicted that. Like he predicted everyone will be able to do it one day just without having the budget, and then we won't need
Right.
the labels one day, which is that's a whole other conversation. But he was right. I mean,
He's right. Yeah.
It's interesting that you mentioned auto tune. I think back in the day, the kind of the equivalent was I think the vocal box vocoder, something like that, like Zapp and Roger. They used to kind of use those kind of effects. But yeah, I used to hate on auto tune, but I've seen people make some really cool stuff with it. So it's just almost like a new instrument now. If you know how to use it, you can make some amazing stuff still.
yeah, I love how like artists like Pink Pantheress and Charlie X, yeah, XCX use it. I love how they use it so much.
Like out of the contemporary artists, like who are you really? I wouldn't necessarily say drawing inspiration from, but who do you really admire of like your era?
Definitely SZA. I know people love to hate on Drake, but I'm a day one Drake fan. Like, I love
He's got a
Drake.
great voice. Yeah.
He has a great voice. He knows
Really
how to
good
make a
voice.
hit. He knows how to make a hook. He knows how to sing. He definitely knows how to sing for the girls, and he knows how to sing for the boys that like think they're balling like Drake, but they're not really.
But they're not really. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's I think he does an incredible job of like selling listeners on a lifestyle and vibe. So I think he has like a really I think he's just really well-rounded at attracting listeners, and makes I love how he can say so much with like saying as few words as possible. Like I can't think of a
Right.
line off the top of my head, but he could say like one sentence and you're like, "Oh, I see a whole picture. Like I know exactly what you're talking about." So I think he's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, what's so amazing about Drake is he's been successful for like a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to like maintain success, especially in rap, where the younger you are, almost the better. Like once you hit like 30s or 40s, they almost look at you as old news. So to be able to continue dropping hit after hit, that's pretty amazing. So
Yeah.
yeah, in terms of that, I know you got a single dropping this Friday, correct?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yeah, it's called Girlfriend, and it actually is kind of it's very much inspired by the song Pimmy's Interlude on Drake's album that he did with Party Next Door, Love Songs for You. is in that scape of like kind of wintry, a lot of layered nylon string acoustic guitars, reverbed out. I love it. It's one of my favorite songs I've done so far.
Reverb. You can't go wrong, right?
At all.
Where can people hear this single at?
So it's gonna be dropping on Friday the 13th. Yes. Yes, the 13th. But it's gonna be everywhere. So I'll have links on my website, sydnicook.com, SYDNI cook.com. And yeah, it'll be pretty accessible.
Nice.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, another interesting thing about you, you also auditioned to be on Tiny Desk. Can you tell us about that a little bit?
Yeah, so I've done it before, but this year I did it in the biggest way possible. I recorded my audition over at Tree Sound Studios in Duluth, Atlanta, Georgia, one of the classics, best studios. I had my full band there. I had Isaiah on drums, Gio on guitar, Manny was playing keyboard, and he was playing bass. So he was killing it. He was killing it. He's incredible. Yeah, and I had like my engineer, Terrence. He's also my producer as well. Love him. He does so much for me, and he was engineering it. And I had some other people helping out too. So I submitted my song "Trick Daddy" that I put out in 2024, and that's like a real like I've heard. A couple of people have told me that song sounds like if SZA did 90s R&B. So I love that. Yeah, so we did that with a live band, and I'm excited. It's on YouTube, the full video. So go check that out.
Nice. How influenced would you say you are by 90s hip hop or R&B? Like, let's say Aaliyah or TLC. Like, what's that look like for you?
I would definitely say I love like SWV. I'm dyslexic.
Yeah.
I get it mixed up. I love SWV. That was like a new find for me over the past like 3 years. And then TLC, I feel like they're in a similar vein. And actually my old manager Ian Burke discovered TLC. So ever since I started working with him, I've always gone back and looked at TLC and how I just love how same with SWV, how they stack their vocals like it's just incredible. It's beautiful. I don't know how they do it. I feel like talking about like technology through the different times. I feel like that's some 90s technology that I think we've lost it. Like I don't know how they did that. Like it almost sounds like it's like a perfect harmony stack, and it almost has like kind of like I don't want to say robotic, but it has some type of technology sound in it that makes it sound so cool. And then of course Lauryn Hill, Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. When I first listened to that album, that changed my life. So, and I always think about that, especially when I write songs on the guitar, you know.
Yeah. What was that like 99, 2000?
Oh yeah, I guess it must have been late 90s. Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Classic. And I love the Fugees too that she's in, so
Yeah, no, I absolutely love SWV. Like I'm So Into You, and
yes.
they just have so many classics.
Rain. So good.
Yeah, I don't know what it was about the 90s, but it just has its own like specific kind of atmosphere. It's just like a little different. Yeah.
100%. Which is so funny because I feel like the 80s, at least from my perspective, now I know Michael Jackson and Prince were running shit in the 80s, but when I look at the 80s, I'm like, what were y'all doing? Like, what's this color palette? What's everything going on? Like, and I mean, I can't hate on the music though, because you had them and Whitney and all that, and they were killing it. But like 80s is so like in your face, futuristic, crazy fashion. And then like the 90s, it's just like flannels and baggy denim and
huge clothing.
Yeah, huge clothing. Like it's just
like Billie Eilish, like
literally
huge shirts. I used to have I had a Wu-Tang Clan Wu Wear shirt when I was in like 3rd grade. Came like all the way down to my ankles. It was like a 3XL.
You were styling. Yes.
Yeah, 3rd grade. I've been listening to hip hop for quite a while, since probably the early to mid 90s. I was born in 87, so I was listening to hip hop when I was like 8 or 9 years old. Tupac, Wu-Tang, Nas, all stuff like that. Busta Rhymes.
Yeah, they're like the pioneers. I mean, they're not the pioneers, but pioneers of that era. Yeah, that's incredible.
What's kind of weird to me is like the 2000s, it almost all runs together. I can't just think like this is the exact 2000 sound, this is the 2010s, like
100%. And like, what, we're 6 years into the 2020s?
right. It's almost over. Like,
That's insane. Yeah, no, that's insane.
yeah,
Yeah.
what is the sound of the 20s?
I think it's, I mean, I kind of feel like it's this new era of R&B and this pop rap. I think it's pop rap and pop R&B. I think that's the sound of the 2020s, and a lot of like toxic love stories because the dating scene is a fucking mess, you know, like
Yeah.
so
I think the internet, it kind of changed things a little bit because, back in the day, you just had the radio or maybe like MTV and BET, and somebody had to put you on to get onto those channels. Whereas now, people find you on the internet. So there's not like this cohesive sound because, you have one or two people picking everybody. Now it's just like thousands of different sounds and people go discover them. So
And
like,
it's like they go straight to the consumer. You just stream straight to the listener. Whereas, yeah, like you're saying, Kev, before when we're growing up, you had like Hot 97 in New York, Angie Martinez. You had to wait and listen for your song to come on. And then like if you had a tape deck that could record, put in a blank tape, record, Lauryn Hill or whoever. I mean, that really brings me back just, or even in the stores, like I think Sam Goody, Strawberries, they'd have the listening stations. I don't know if you remember that.
It might be a little too old. A little too
yeah,
way
no,
back.
Maybe, yeah, they had the listening stations in with the CDs.
I've seen that at like vinyl record stores, but I definitely did miss that. Like,
Okay.
I was trying to think because I remember, I mean, of course, listening to the radio, but now it's like if I get in a car, I'm just gonna pull up Spotify on my phone. But I'm trying to think of like when I was a kid, when my parents would pick me up from school or something, what would be on? They definitely listened to 99.7. They were listening to the radio and stuff. Yeah.
Like, did any song stand out to you like as a child? Like, whoa, what is this? I love this song.
Great Gig in the Sky on the Pink Floyd album Dark Side of the Moon. Yeah, I remember that. And like, I mean, my dad also like very much primed me. Like, he'd be like, listen to this. He'd be like, listen to this. Like, this person's a legend. Like, I remember when he showed me Rehab by Amy Winehouse. That was my first time hearing Amy Winehouse. But that was like before I got into her, but I remember him showing me her. So definitely those two songs. And then, I mean, the song that I feel like really, another song that like really opened up my eyes and like later in life was when I was in 8th grade. My history teacher, Miss McClure, put us on to A Change Is Gonna Come by Sam Cooke. And I will never forget that entire class, like how she broke down the song.
Love that song.
Yeah, it's an amazing song. And then just like the story of the
powerful.
times.
Yeah, it's like got like a great message behind it.
Yeah, and so I love that song. Yeah.
Now, what about has a song ever made you cry?
The first song that ever made me cry, I know for sure, is Blue by Beyonce on the Beyonce self-titled album. That song used to get me.
Now, what about, you mentioned Pink Floyd? What albums do you like from them?
Man, I mean, of course, like the Dark Side of the Moon.
Obviously, Dark Side, yeah, for sure.
I used to really be into them, and I haven't really given them a good listen in probably like 3 years. But they had an album I liked. I can't remember what it was called, but on the cover, it's like it looks like a house, and then you can see like greenery outside, and then there's like a door, and if you look in the door, it's the same image, and it gets smaller and smaller and smaller.
Oh wow!
I can't remember what it's called, but that was a good album. I liked that one.
I really like Animals. It's kind of not as well known Pink Floyd album, but that, and then the really early stuff with the guy who went crazy, Syd Barrett. Their first album is more like Beatles, like Sgt. Pepper, but then after he went crazy from acid and all that, they had to kind of find their way with David Gilmour coming in on vocals and guitar, and they transformed. I mean, they probably didn't believe they would last after that. You know, your main singer and songwriter leaving the band unexpectedly, like, and they were huge. They were huge, huge at that time. So it's a miracle they even survived going through that and restructuring and all that.
Yeah, I actually remember my dad telling me the story of that, and I think The Lunatic on the Hill is about him, the original singer,
Yeah,
I think, yeah,
yeah,
that's a crazy story, that's insane, yeah.
yeah. It's told that Sid Barrett, he was seen one time at a bar and someone poured him a shot glass full of acid and he downed the whole thing.
Oh, that'll make you lose your mind.
Like, so that's the level that this guy was operating at.
Oh my
So
god.
very risky, very reckless. Yeah, very reckless.
I don't like psychedelics, I would have lost my mind too. Oh my gosh.
So like in this more modern era of music, it seems like record labels before they deal with you, they kind of want you to have your own audience. They want you to be developed already. You pretty much have to do everything by yourself before they take a chance on you. Like how are you able to like develop your musical skills and like even choreography if you do any dancing? How are you able to get your skills up to par on your own?
I've tried the dancing. The dancing is still in progress. That is one thing that has been, like, so hard for me. I've worked with choreographers before, and I'm just like, I look at them and they're, like, so smooth, and then I try it, and I'm like, I'm like, "Please don't
Yeah,
look at me."
robotic.
But no, literally, I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm embarrassed to even try this." Um, but that's on the way. But everything else, I mean, I would honestly say just, like, listening to the people around me, and, like, people older than me in the industry who I respect a lot. I think the best thing I ever did for my career was, senior year of high school, I got an internship at Icon Studios, and at that point, I literally was like, I wanted to go to NYU and go to Clive Davis, and I would have been in, like, buttloads of debt right now if I
Oh
had done
yeah.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
and everybody at the studio was
Oh
like,
yeah.
"Don't do that. Just go to Georgia State, because you can get the Hope Scholarship, you won't be in debt, and you can stay working at studios, and you get actual real life industry experience." And I'm so happy I did that because that's how I developed my craft and my sound and my skill by just hopping around, like, interning at different studios, being around different people, hanging out in rooms, being the fly on the wall, just listening, you know what I mean? Um, yeah, so I'm glad I stayed in Atlanta and went to Georgia State.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, boy. Marcus Manderson says, pull up to the Sync Spotlight in Atlanta, largest Sync conference.
Oh, wait, let me take a picture of this. Cause yes.
Yeah, that's our boy Marcus Manderson. He's all over the sync,
Hey,
all the sync
Marcus.
stuff. Yeah.
Let her cook. That's funny. Yes, I will definitely pull up. I will definitely pull up. I don't have any of my songs in a sync library, so that's something I've been wanting to do.
Oh yeah, we can make that connection. Mark is definitely doing big things in music.
Oh yeah.
Dope.
But yeah, in terms of like watching yourself on camera, like is that something that you're able to do? Like me, for example, I hate hearing my own voice. I don't like looking at myself. So it's hard for me to kind of get better when I just don't like hearing myself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm the exact same way. I get like, for instance, with the NPR Tiny Desk stuff, I had to pick we did 3 songs that we recorded, and I had to pick between 2 of them, and I just I did not wanna watch them. I had the songs in my Dropbox for, like, 3 days, and I literally had to I went out of the I went to DC this weekend to visit my cousin, and I did not look at them until I got to the airport. When I got to the airport, I sent them to everybody in my family, and then I sent them to 2 or 3 of my really close friends, and I told all of them, I was like, "Tell me if I can watch this, like, just tell me what you think," like, and everybody was like, "It's amazing, watch it." I was like, "I've been sitting on it for, like, 3 days, I've been too scared to watch it," but I had to get their approval before I could watch it, you know?
Like, does your voice quite sound like when you hear your voice, like you hear it, does it sound like how it sounds on the record? Like for me, it sounds way different. I'm usually like, I don't sound like that. Why do I sound?
It definitely depends, like, um, I used to feel that way a lot, but like the past 2 years because I felt that way so much, I would just beat myself up so bad. Now I just make sure I do my vocal warm-ups like all the time. I make sure the night before I have a show, I'm at home drinking tea, just, having like a relaxing me time, take care of my throat and all that. And since I've been doing that, now I feel like I'll always nitpick on myself, like, oh, like you're rushing or you're being
Yeah.
slow or you missed that note a little bit. Like I'll always have that, but it's so much more tolerable now.
So I know like aesthetics is a huge part of the industry, having a look. Like how did you develop your like signature look, and like going forward, are you going to be working with stylists, or is everything pretty much just stuff that you picked out yourself?
Right now, everything I've been doing is picked out myself. And yeah, branding and aesthetics and all that that's been a journey for me. I feel like, I feel like what I've recently learned, like I know it's real popular right now, this like gothic kind of medieval kind of vibe. But I started watching Game of Thrones last year and I've been reading a lot of fantasy books. And so that has really influenced me on my style and helped me find like a comfortable, like different vibes to look at, like silver, black, like red, all these kinds of things that make me think of that fantasy world that I love reading about and watching.
Right.
um and I like my new thought process around it is when people hear my music and they look at me, I want them to feel like they're stepping into this other world. And so now my thought process is just like, what does that world look like? And how does every single thing I do help inform that world for my audience? You know what I mean? So that is the thing I had like locked up for too long. Now I got it and I'm feeling comfortable.
Nice.
No, that's really interesting that you've been able to take like a more gothic or fantasy based look, and do R&B music. Typically, you wouldn't think like those two mix, but you've been able to make it work. I mean, typically, that aesthetic people expect like some kind of rock and roll based music.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I did actually talk to a stylist recently, and she was saying that too. She was like, "That's actually cool," because like and I think that's the whole thing with my brand is juxtaposition. Like for instance, like I love the term like feminine rage because it's kind of like juxtaposes each other, and I
Yeah.
feel like that's a lot of what I tend to write like, just kind of like satirical defiance, if that makes sense. Like for instance, the song that's coming out Friday is it's called Girlfriend, and the whole song I'm saying like I miss my girlfriend, I just need my girlfriend. But if you listen to the lyrics in the verse, what I'm talking about a guy, but I'm calling him a bitch. So
Hmm.
like I'm talking about an ex or like somebody I'm with that's like acting like a bitch, but yeah, so like stuff
Okay.
like that. Yeah.
But, I mean, that's cool that you have been able to kind of blend these unique styles, because especially in this day and age, you really need something different to stand out because there's so much competition now.
There's so much competition. It's like flooded with
Yeah.
competition, especially for like people in your age group. Like when I was coming up, there was competition, but like I said, you had to have the money. I mean, you had to have the money
The
to
money,
go.
oh,
The money.
yeah.
You had to have the money to go into the studio to record to begin with. Now you can just do it out of your bedroom. So I feel like the barrier to entry is totally different now. And
Yeah,
I mean, it's good and bad. It's kind of rough in terms of competition because you got all these people uploading music to Spotify or Apple Music, whatever. I mean, how do you feel about that? About there not really being that much of a barrier anymore to do music. Do you feel like that cheapens it at all? Or yeah, I mean, how do you look at that?
I definitely think it's a good thing. I mean, and I'll have my different days how I feel about it. I feel like I definitely think it's a good thing because I think everybody deserves to have a voice and to be heard. And so I love that it is open to everybody and everybody can have that opportunity to put themselves out there. I do think like when I get into it's easy to get into like a competitive or jealous mindset with it. But I mean, once you remove yourself from that and you like don't compare yourself, like just focus on putting in the work and developing yourself and believing in what you do, it makes it easier to support the artists around you. Because I mean, it's all just music at the end of the day, you know? And there's enough, like, what it is we're giving music to people. And I mean, there's so many songs in the world, and I still feel like every single day, like, man, I'm trying to find a new song I like. You know that feeling when you find a new song you like. There's
Yeah.
like it's
Yeah.
limitless potential where it's not like we're gonna run out of people to listen to songs, you know? So I think it's a good thing. But I used to think it wasn't. But now I'm like, yeah, let's all put out music and love all the
Yeah,
music.
I don't know. I'm divided on it just because, when I was coming up, like I said, you had to have money to go get a demo made. You needed to pay someone to do the graphic design for the logo or the artwork. Now you could just have AI probably design you up something like pretty badass for free. So I think it's a whole different game plan now.
It is, but I will say it is cool because I feel like with all of that, because it is like it's that what you're saying, but it's also like you have to learn how to do all of that on your own. Like I
Yeah.
have become I never wanted to be like a video editor or like a graphic designer, but I have
Yeah.
learned to do all those things um throughout my years of doing this. And it was irritating at first, but once because it feels like you're juggling so much because you
Yeah.
have to juggle so much. And then if you go pay somebody to like edit a video for you, I've had people do amazing jobs on editing my videos, everybody that has edited a video of mine, but no one's gonna care about how your video looks like you will. You know what I mean? Like that's just an
100%.
example. But so it feels good to like be like, oh, like I'll just go to the woods and bring my camcorder and shoot some shit, put it on a tripod, and I'll go home and slice it up and it's gonna look beautiful instead of having to rely on somebody else. So it's freeing once you feel like you know what you're doing, you know?
Yeah, we are kind of in the era of doing it all. Like maybe you could spend like 50, 60% on the art, and then the rest has to be spent on like either business or the infrastructure, like you making video editing, social media
Marketing.
marketing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
marketing. Whew.
That's the thing. Like, people think about someone like Steve Jobs being the ultimate, marketer for Apple. And the funny thing about that is he got kicked out of his own company. They fired him.
Really?
Yeah. But, when you think about Steve Jobs, a lot of people think, oh, he's that computer guy, he's a programmer or whatever. It's like, no, he wasn't a programmer. He didn't do any of that technical stuff. All he was like a major marketing force, but he was so good at marketing that his partner, Steve Wozniak, he's, in the garage building the computers. And then Steve Jobs is out there selling it, going to like different like groups and conferences. And so you do that. Marketing's so important. That's what I'm getting at.
I
Marketing
didn't know that.
100% huge.
But that makes sense because think about like black what do you call this? Turtleneck, denim jeans. That's Steve Jobs. Like that's branding. That's branding.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like in terms like you've built a sizable following. So in terms of marketing, how are you able to kind of find your tribe and build up your audience? Because it's really not easy.
It is not easy, man. I mean, now I've been doing like social media audits. So every Monday I'll track like what I have is across all social media and like monthly Spotify listeners. And like this time last year I had 3,000 followers and now I have 10.5K. And I kid you not, that number has been on my vision board since 2019. Like I have had years of hoping I would get there and years of thinking I would never get there. I think collaborating with brands has been the most helpful for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's like Cymatics is amazing. I feel like they really sharing their platform with me to try out their plugins and post me singing with their plugins and putting ads behind it has grown my following significantly. And I think just like you have to have such a balance of like staying home and like working on your craft, but then also going out and meeting people that are gonna like videotape you and post
The networking.
Yeah.
You can't Like
It's so annoying, but
when I
it's
was younger,
good
I used to throw shows and like you can't get away without doing a networking bit. Like
at all.
we had a situation where like most of the kids used to play in a pop punk band when I was in high school, and most of the kids that would come to the show, they were from the schools. So we would have like there were maybe three like really big high schools in the local area. I grew up in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and it would just basically be like, okay, let's get these flyers into this school, and then we'll get the kids to come out to the show. And that's exactly how it worked. Once we got out of high school, the networking became much more difficult because now you're not just dropping flyers that, go hand out 100, 200 of these flyers in your school, kind of like street team, old school street
Mhm.
team. Now it definitely looks different now.
It's different because in high school it's like, people want to leave the house and go meet people. People don't want to leave the house right now
Yeah.
unless they have a reason to leave the house. So it's
Yeah.
not, and then especially with like how expensive stuff is, like even asking people to come to like a $10 show is like, ugh, because I'm gonna buy drinks there, I'm gonna Uber there and back.
Yeah.
And it's like you're looking at, like, I at least always look at it like, oh my god, that's gonna be $100 night. You know what I mean? So it's all about, I guess, formulating connections and supporting people who support you back. I'm still trying to figure it out. It's hard.
Yeah, I mean, even like in terms of the internet, like it used to be a lot easier to go viral or be organic. Now it's like who knows what the algorithm is like changing every 3 days, and you never know what they want. So like almost pushing you to promote, like you have to drop some money to be seen. And
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
feel like I might be wrong, but I feel like once they know, like TikTok or Instagram or Facebook, once they know that you're gonna spend money on ads, I feel like they like kind of tuck your video. That's just a theory of mine. I don't know if that's true, but sometimes I'll feel like that. Like y'all know I would give you $20 to give me like an extra couple hundred
yeah,
views. So why would you just post it out if I don't give you like
That's
20
right.
bucks? Yeah.
yeah, I definitely feel like they kind of suppress you until you start breaking off the money. Now they're releasing the views that you should have had. But
That's so true. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like they open the floodgate, like you put, $50 down, all of a sudden the dam opens up and then it closes, after a little bit, it closes back down. So
Yeah, 100%.
it's almost like you got to be like a mini investor too to add to the repertoire of other skills. Like, okay, drop 50
Oh,
here, 100 here.
yeah.
tell me about it. I've been working since I was like 15, and I have always just I just always put my music or my money from my job just right into my music.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I worked like an 8-hour shift. All right, I'll be at the studio tomorrow. I
There
hope
we
I can
go.
do 8 hours tomorrow, like,
There we go.
yeah.
Yeah, you definitely have to have that passion. But you also mentioned like reaching out to brands and having them sponsor you, and you can probably take the proceeds of that and reinvest it in the music. But like, how would somebody with a smaller following, how would they reach out to the brands to even be able to generate that income?
Um, Honestly, the 2 brands I've worked with, they reached out to me, which I was like super fortunate. But like back in 2020, I used to email. I only did this in 2020 because after 2020, I was like, I'm not doing this shit anymore because I wasn't getting any responses. I would email like 100 people a day as far as like
Wow.
clothing brands. I did that for like 3 to 5 months.
Wow.
I got like 3 responses, so I stopped doing that.
That's
And then like,
hustle though. That's
man, you
hustle.
have to hustle. I've done so much hustling. That's one thing I'm proud of. And that's the other thing where it's like, if you want to do this, you can't like you have to be okay with failing and being tired and feeling like you're wasting money and like you're wasting energy and like you're behind. Like you just have to like let that be, static. Like don't listen to that. Like just know you're on your grind and like just keep going because you're gonna get there, because you got to.
Yep. Put your money where your mouth is. And like you mentioned, failure. Like even with this podcast, it took a long time to finally gain traction. It's like almost you're just performing for nobody, and you have to be cool with that for like a couple of years.
Yeah, like literally. Yeah, and that it can be easy to let that the doubt and the lack of an audience keep you from continuing to go. But you have to remember, that's where people give up. And that's where it's like, no, I'm serious about this. I'm not playing about this. So I'm going to keep going. I'm not going to give up.
Yeah, I feel like God, looks at that progression, looks at that enthusiasm and willpower, and ultimately rewards it, but it's not going to be from day one. Like, I think that's what a lot of people miss, because it's like, okay, everyone grew up in our generation. You want to be like Michael Jordan, you want to be able to shoot hoops like Mike, dunk like Mike, but it's like, in actuality, do you really want to be like Mike? Do you want to be out there in the rain shooting free throws for hours? Like, no, that's not glamorous. You want to be on TV and you're dunking the ball from the free throw line. Like, that's what you want. But all that work is unseen. And I feel like
Yeah.
being a musician, a lot of our work is not seen. It's just that very ending of the cycle, the output, the demo, the EP, the LP, that gets seen, but all that work that goes into it, the networking, the marketing, on and on and on, people don't really see that. And maybe they do now because we have social media and people kind of share a little bit of that process sometimes. But outside of that, I don't know.
That is so true. That is so true. People probably only see like 10% of what you put out. And you can put out it just all depends on like what your social media strategy is. You can put out the whole process, but it is like, who's watching that? You know what I mean? Because
that's the thing.
It's not glamorous. It's boring. Like sitting in my room for an hour going is boring as shit. I don't want to do it. Nobody wants to watch it, but you got to do it. But yeah, especially like when you're on the come up and you talk to people, like whether it be people in your family or like people I know who are like my same age, who are like getting their little corporate 9-to-5 jobs. I'll be talking to them, families chatting, and I'm like, they probably think I'm like the loser, failure to launch kid that's still like trying to make their band work. But it's like, no, you have to have faith, because I have it. Just wait.
Yeah.
Y'all are going to see eventually, okay?
Let me do my thing. Yeah.
No, literally. Like, yeah.
And it's really crazy because a lot of times people are watching, but they're just not saying anything and
not engaging.
Then years later, like, oh yeah, I love that song. I was listening to you like years ago. Like, why didn't you say anything?
No,
Yeah,
true.
right.
Yeah, well, I actually had something that really gave me hope recently was this guy, his name is Gerald something, but he has like 3 million followers on Instagram. And I was at Linux on my birthday, and he had those like glasses that film you. And he came up to me and he just like, he said something funny, and I just was like, I didn't know who he was, and I just like went along with it. And I was like, you're filming me, like, get out of here. And he wound up posting it, and I was so scared because I didn't know who he was. I was like, he could be a nobody, he could be super famous. He's like super famous.
Yeah.
And I was scrolling through the comments, and like, thankfully everybody received it really good. It made me very happy. But there was like 5 people in the comments who I don't follow, I don't have any mutuals with, they don't follow me. And they were like, oh, that's that girl that does music. Oh, that's Sydney who sings. Oh, that's that girl. And I was like, thank you. Like, that gave me so much faith. I was like, oh my God, they see me. They do see me.
They see me. Yeah.
That was amazing. I was like, thank you guys.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did it feel like your kind of like your first moment, the first time you went viral and you started seeing yourself gain traction? Like, how did that affect you mentally?
The first time I went viral was for a bad thing. So I went viral in a bad way. It was actually, I'll just be transparent about it. I sang Love by Keisha Cole, and it might not have been the best cover. I did the mixing myself, and because that's when you're doing it all, you're learning how to do it all.
Yeah.
I gave up on mixing after that. I was like, I'm done mixing. But I got posted on an R&B cover page on Black History Month, and people were like really mad. They were like, why are you singing this? And I was like, fair. I was like, I'm sorry. So that was really upsetting, but I was like, I get it. Like, I get it. But that was a little discouraging because I was like, damn, like, I've been doing this for years, and this is my viral moment, and this is what it is.
Well, it's like, they say bad press is just as good as good press. It's getting you out there. It's marketing.
Yeah, it And I think it was a great learning lesson, you know, because I learned how to handle it. And then like there were people in the comments that were like backing me up, and I did get a lot of eyes on my page after that. And
Nice.
then yeah, and then I think this is the first time I've gone viral positively. I know it's not like really related to music, but it is kind of. But so this was great. You know?
Like, yeah, you have to have a tough skin to be online, and because there's a lot of people that leave really nasty stuff, and it's like, you know, if your mind isn't strong enough, you're gonna focus on that and just hone in and, you know,
100%.
let that tear you apart when there's 80,000 people saying great things about you.
So valid. And it's always the person with like 2 followers that doesn't
Yeah.
have a profile
No
picture that's
picture.
Yeah,
saying
no picture,
yeah,
5 followers. Like, who are you, dude?
no,
Like,
literally.
I had
Like, you know
someone I had
yeah,
someone
you
come at me like, I don't know, maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I'm just like, wow, like, you don't know me, dude. Like, don't try to begin to judge me. Like, you have no idea what I've done, what I'm capable of. But then, you know, Kevin reminds me, he's like, this is just some like random person with like 10 followers, no picture. Like, why would you care what they think? And
yeah,
that's really, you know, the better way to look at this situation is like, why would I forget the saying, it's like a king doesn't fight with clowns. I feel like that's kind of relevant to this situation. Like, this guy's a clown. He's just trying to troll me, trying to jab me. So I respond back. And instead of that, I reported him as harassment. And then I blocked him. So I feel like, you know,
good.
block and then move on. That's really, you know, and like Kevin's saying, like, focus on that positive, focus on, okay, I just got 50,000 streams on my new song. You know, people are liking this. Why am I going to worry about that one negative comment over there in the corner?
100%. And I heard a quote similar to that. It was like, nobody's gonna nobody that's above you is gonna look below themselves and hate on you. It's only gonna be somebody that's below you that's gonna look up and be like,
Yeah.
you're doing this wrong. And that puts things into perspective a lot, you
Yeah.
know?
'Cause, yeah, when
Yeah.
you got
And when you
no
think about it,
traction, when you have no
yeah,
traction,
sorry.
nobody
Go
says
ahead.
anything. Like, you just have 0 comments.
Yeah, exactly. Like let the people hate, because that's how you know if you have haters, that's good.
Doing something right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, 100%. Yeah.
And, yeah, like, the thing about these haters now, they might not even be humans, is, you know, these AI robots
Right.
are really good now, and
You might be getting heckled by a robot. Yeah.
Literally, literally.
and speaking of AI, it's crazy how, like, not only is that being used to help in the production of music, they're creating songs, period, from it, and a lot of it sounds good.
A lot of it sounds like unmistakable. And I used to like,
Yeah.
yeah, when I see AI memes, I can always tell. And I always thought I could tell because of the audio. Like, I feel like the audio has this like kind of sound over it, like this like thick kind of sound over it. But this like random AI song came up in my suggestions on Spotify the other day. And I was like, this is great. And then I looked at it and I was like, this bitch is AI. This is not real. And I was like, and
Yeah.
and I totally was buying it. Like, so it's very
And
disappointing, a little disappointing. But
like, there's even AI influencers now. Like, it's not only the music, they can create the visuals, and you're like, "Hey, wait, that's not a real person."
yeah, I was talking to my friend Pia about this, and she does music as well. She's awesome. I love Pia. Pia Valencia. You go check her out. Her and I were talking about it. And because we were getting upset about it, we were like, how do these people have like 3.5 million monthly listeners? How are they
Right.
doing this? And what we came to decide is, one, they'll never be able to put on a show like a human will. That's just not going to happen. There's no human connection. You know, you don't have that.
Right.
And then two, it makes sense that they have such high monthly listeners because I'm not like the expert on this. Somebody would probably explain this better, and I might be wrong. But if Spotify doesn't have to pay out an artist and they can pay out an AI fake artist, it's like I'm thinking it'd be more beneficial for their business model to have AI artists than have real people that they'd have to pay out.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean?
Good point. Yeah.
Just made me think about it. I don't have the exact knowledge of how that would work because somebody's getting paid from those AI streams, you know, but
Yeah, and like I think in the future they're probably gonna. I've already seen some. They're gonna have like hologram shows where they're displaying the image. So like, okay, let's just say a label approaches you and they offer you X amount of money to kind of buy your likeness. Would you like sell your likeness and they're able to like throw concerts, let's just say 10 places at once using a hologram show? Would that be something?
I wouldn't do that.
No. Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, that's because then I mean, have you guys seen that Black Mirror episode? I think it's called like Joan or like My Name is Joan or something like that.
I
I
haven't
don't think
seen that
so.
one. Can you tell us about it?
Oh, y'all have got to see this. It's about so it's this girl. I think it's like the newer season. And her name is Joan. Oh, it's called Joan is Awful. And she's like watching Netflix on Black Mirror. She's watching Netflix on the show. And so you see her whole day go by, and then she comes home and she watches Netflix. And they have a new terms of agreement. And so she just doesn't read it. She just clicks agree.
Sure.
And so she comes back the next day and she puts on Netflix, and there's this show called Joan is Awful on her Netflix, and it is every episode the girl looks just like her, but it's played by an actress, a different actress, and every day it's like every episode you're seeing how her day went, and it's playing her out to be this like horrible person, and everybody in her life is like the show has gone viral and everybody's like, oh my god, Joan is awful, and she's like, this is about me. And
Yeah.
then the people who were close to her life are like you did that, like you did that, and she's like, I did that, but it wasn't that bad. And so basically, yeah, but it's basically in the terms of agreement, she sold her likeness to Netflix.
Yeah.
She agreed to it. So it's like they could, if you do that, they can do. That's like giving away your social security number. They could do anything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it'd be
Yeah.
scary.
I could be wrong, but I think TikTok they had a new terms and agreement, and it was something along
did.
those akin to that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was definitely thinking of that episode when I saw that come up. But as like an artist, I can't delete TikTok. That's a huge way to promote yourself.
Yeah.
But I saw it was about geolocation tracking. And then there was definitely other stuff, but that's the one thing I remember.
I've seen a couple of videos on TikTok where people are talking to AI, and then the AI says something back, but in their own voice. So it's like it only needs a small
Weird.
sample of your voice to be able to emulate you, and that's kind of crazy.
Crazy.
Kind of creepy. Yeah.
Very much. Yeah. No, AI is I
Where do you see the future going, like in music, in terms of music? What role do you see? Because like as a drummer, it makes me think back to like, I mean, I was born in '87, but in the '80s, you had the drum machine come out. So like if you look back, a lot of drummers were like afraid, oh, okay, this drum machine is gonna replace me live, replace me in the studio. But no, like, especially now more than ever, people are using, session drummers for their recordings. They're using session drummers for their live bands, for their performances. So that'll never go away. But people, do speculate that with this new AI coming out, that I think it's the same kind of worry. But I mean, how do you think that's going to look like 10 years from now?
I think what she said, like about how it's the same kind of worry as like the drum thing. Because I feel like it happens in music and art as every time new technology comes out, there's always people who push back. And I mean, even in business, there's always gonna be people who push back against new technology. And I think if we look at history, it's better to just embrace it. Unfortunate, like when I look at AI artists and AI like music, I'm like, yeah, that's an unfortunate thing to embrace. But I do think it's better to embrace new technology than to like be left in the dust. But that doesn't mean you have to create an AI artist, but I think it'll even out, like how you said about like, the session drummer and all that. I definitely think it'll even out.
Just like in software, I think it could be used like as a quick like brainstorming tool, scaffolding tool. You kind of explore ideas like, oh, I want a song that sounds like this. Okay, I kind of like that. Now, then I'm gonna take this, make it into a full song, versus they spit me out a full song front to back, and I'm gonna just put this out.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Because like as an artist, it takes a lot to write a song, to create, to compose. I mean, I'm primarily a drummer, but I've composed a lot of music in my day, and like, it's a really important thing. Like, it's not something to be cheapened by AI, and I feel like in a way it is being cheapened by AI right now. But I think that's gonna, like with the drum machines, like I think it's gonna pass. I think people are like up in arms about it right now. They're like, oh no, it's gonna be terrible. You know, AI is gonna take over. But I think it's just gonna change things. It's not gonna take over. You know, that's kind of ridiculous to think that, but it definitely will change things, you know, in some direction.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely think it will. I think we'll just have to see what happens. I guess I know people are talking a lot about like how the implications it has on the environment, and I think that's something I'm really interested in. Because I mean, once AI first came out, I was like, I've always had that like adapt with technology mindset, just from like, just seeing history and all that. Um, but once I'm also like a huge environmentalist. Like I'm like pescatarian, no dairy. Like I try to be really mindful of like Mother Nature and the earth. And so when I hear the environmental thing, I'm like, these two like values of mine are like butting heads. So I don't know. I want to see more research about how AI does affect the environment
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
having a huge environmental impact because you got to build new, like even nuclear power plants to be able to power that, and that's even
Yeah.
before the widespread proliferation of robots. You just have AI. You don't have AI in a robotic body. Now, once it has a robotic body, that's going to need additional power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do you think about? Okay, let's just say AI is sentient. It resembles something living. um, at that point, I don't think we could just cut it off now because you're essentially killing something.
That's right.
So once you
Completely
bring it
agree.
out the bottle, you can't put it back in.
Yeah, I completely agree. I don't like when I see people like be mean to their AI bots.
Oh,
I'm like,
bad idea.
yeah, like you bad.
Bad idea. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some movies that started like this. But yeah, it's a bad idea, and it is also like, I mean, that is a great question. Like, is it just like their life, their sentience doesn't matter because we created it, humans created it, or is it like the question of the soul? Like that's where you get like really philosophical, because I do agree with that. I think it's like you can't just shut it off now. Like
Yeah.
that's
Right.
that's like murder. Like
Pretty much.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, AI has even shown like this ability to go and try to preserve itself, like either copy itself on other servers. Like it doesn't want to be like shut off.
I've
No.
seen
So
that.
and that, it really makes you think like, okay, do we have to give it rights? Because I don't know if you heard about Moltbook. That's like it's like Reddit, but for AI. It's like AI agents. They created their own version of Reddit, and they're
No.
talking to each other on it.
All right.
Oh wow.
And if you read some of their conversations, it's very close to human. Like you wouldn't be able to tell that they're not humans, and some of them are even complaining about being overworked and not getting a break.
Oh, boy. Oh, I'm gonna have to
That's
look that up.
wild.
That's insane.
They
Well,
want
I mean,
breaks.
yeah, the unfortunate thing is like we've all known that the world was gonna get to this point with like robots at some point, and somebody still had to go freaking invent it. It's like
Yeah.
we knew it was coming. I mean, it was an inevitable. It was that way.
It's just
So
amazing how
Yeah.
quickly it happened. Like 3 or 4 years ago, it's like,
Yeah.
is this even real? Like, I don't. Nobody's
No,
right.
thinking about it.
no one heard. Yeah, no one's talking about. No one heard about AI. And then all of a sudden, like I don't know, 2, 3 years ago, maybe AI is everywhere. Okay, Open AI, Chat GPT, Claude, Gemini, like just everywhere. And people are like freaking out because like it's in all the commercials, and there's
Mm,
even a robot at, I don't know if you have Stop and Shop down in Atlanta. It's a grocery store, but they got this
mhm.
big robot. It's kind of like a manager robot.
The manager.
It's like a huge R2D2 almost, and it informs people when there's a spill. So it's
Oh
kind of
wow.
like a man, like it doesn't clean it up itself. It lets the employees know, hey, like aisle 10, there's a spill. So that's like the very beginning of seeing robots out in stores. Like
Yeah.
it's gonna get crazy as we get a little older here.
Yeah, that is, yeah, we're gonna see the technology landscape change like so much, because once it's like a snowball. I feel like technology, like once it gets
Like
going, it just keeps going and gets bigger and bigger and better.
like it makes me think back to, okay, like Henry Ford and like the Model T, like replacing horse and buggy, with the automobile. I feel like we're right at that level where AI is going to replace certain things that we would think are human. I mean, in a positive light, though, I think it could definitely do a lot of benefit for the medical industry,
True.
pharmaceuticals, curing of AIDS, cancer, different viruses. If this stuff is smarter than us, whether that be by 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times, like, it's going to be smarter. Ultimately, it's going to be smarter than humans. So we should really put it to task and get it working on stuff like that, vaccinations, etc. And then, I don't know, there's a lot of different ways to look at it.
That is so, so true. Let's get on the cancer thing. Please, quick. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, we're at the top of the hour. An hour flew by. Another amazing show. Yeah, before we get out of here, did you want to leave our audience with any closing thoughts? And just to reiterate, where can they find you again?
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for listening, and thank you guys so much for having me. You guys are awesome. That was a really fast hour. That was fun.
It was.
Yeah. But y'all can find me on all of my social media is Sydney Cook Music, SYDNI Cook Music, no E. And my website is sydneycook.com, SYDNI cook.com. And right there you can find every single thing that you could ever want to see about me. I got t-shirts. I got t-shirts for sale now.
Watch
I got
out.
to say knife in my purse. I got take me to the mall, purple pothead. Go check those out.
Awesome.
I would like to thank everybody for tuning in. We'll catch y'all next time.